And yet, when I started to apply the new science and rewrite the subconscious so it supported me, all of a sudden I started to find, my goodness, my life completely turned around.
So from the very level of the subatomic, all the way up to understanding the nature of the mind-body connection, understanding the ways in which my expectations or intentions can actually influence you through placebo or nocebo effects, is all revealing a new cosmology.
Because when people come out, realize at the beginning that something shifted in their minds, they're suddenly met with this thought, this new thought, that I am not powerless. My mind, my consciousness can exert much more of an influence over circumstances than I have ever imagined before, and that's a real big shift.
The other quantum law is, what is it that I'm changing inside of me that's producing the measurable effect outside of me?
The background of atoms is mind-like. The universe, the stuff of the universe is mind stuff.
Why do you think that in our culture that we have a sensory overload from a very early age, and does that have any sort of direct correlation with that? The fact that we are so involved in the material world as opposed to anything more spiritual?
The material world and materialism, it has become kind of the focus of our culture.
What are some of the amazing things that we can do if we know how to use our thoughts properly?
Well, I think that most of the time we mismanage our thoughts, because the majority of our time in our waking day, we spend most of our time responding to the environment.
Why can't I clean the stains off my dental plates with toothpaste?
It's Jell-O pudding and pie filling, the start of dozens of desserts of your own creation. Here's a lemon meringue.
2 mints in one. There's no other candy mint like it, because Certs contains a sparkling drop of Rexin.
But a better way is to stop paying fancy prices for floor wax.
Did you know that mental illness claims more victims than any other disease?
And if we continuously respond to the environment, then the environment is activating circuits in our brain, and we're thinking equal to our environmental stimuli.
Sure is great being on a drive-in watching Super Flick and eating all this great food.
Because you know the subject it has been around for a long time of, is television damaging? Can it be hurting people? And you have said brilliant things about television and caused everybody to stop and think about it.
No, but TV goes right into the human nervous system. It goes right into the midriff.
Yeah.
The image pours right off that tube into the nerves. It's an inner trip. The TV viewer is stoned. Yeah. It's addictive.
Time to refresh yourself and visit our snack bar. Got a yen for hot popcorn?
There is this Indian concept of Maya. Approximately is that the visible world is Maya. It's a system of misleading messages, like the commercials of a company or the statements of a government.
What you're going to hear about today is nothing short of a miracle. It's dramatic,
but this scourge can be wiped out. Out of the traffic in these drugs, a lawlessness that we can scarcely estimate.
Got a yen for hot popcorn? Your favorite soft drink, juicy, frank, sizzling hot. There's delicious coffee, freshly, and all kinds of ice cream and candy to tempt you. Showtime will be announced loud and clear to get you back to your car in time. So stretch your legs. Come to the snack bar now.
A moment of decision, of split-second thinking. Impossible? Not at all. For this driver possesses the finest of all thinking organisms, the human brain.
And so, inevitably, we return to our basic theme. We exist through our senses, we are bound to reality through our senses, we learn, we survive, we grow through our senses. The final wonder is that the experience brought to our brains by the senses is recorded there for the rest of our lives.
Stumbled quite accidentally on the fact that there is recorded in the nerve cells of the human brain a complete record of the stream of consciousness. All those things of which a man was aware in any moment of time are recorded there, and all the sights and sounds which he ignored.
So much of science almost exclusively focuses on the physical dimensions of reality. And, you know, if you can't taste it or touch it or measure it, it isn't real. And yet, all of us know from our direct experience that there's more to life than just our physicality. There's all the inner awareness and our beliefs and our worldviews, our intentions, our motivations. All of these things give us motivations. They propel us. So it's not just about our physicality. And yet science has almost entirely neglected that aspect of our experience.
I believe in evolution as an extraordinary scientific theory. I do not believe in evolution as a religion. They just buy into evolution with genetic mutation and brain chemistry, and this will answer all the questions about human existence. That's where science is trying to be a religion, and it fails drastically, dismally, and I don't buy it.
And the first thing the new physics said is it's not the physical reality where the information is, it's in the field, the invisible stuff. And all of a sudden it was like that jumped me from my mechanical material world idea into entertaining the concept of the invisible force as being more powerful.
The mind, or consciousness, is not the electrical impulses in the brain, nor the chemicals it produces. The mind, or consciousness, is a mystery. Like the atoms which make us, mind is everywhere, immaterial yet immensely powerful. But we are made of atoms. They shape our reality. They're in our subconscious, both in here and out there.
But wisdom demands, too, that we take time to understand this force. Because here, in fact, is the answer to a dream as old as man himself. A giant of limitless power at man's command. And where was it science found that giant?
If there is no activity in the sensory cortex or in the motor cortex or in the emotional centers or in the visual cortex, if the brain is no longer producing any activity there, then there is no mind there. So the parietal lobes that have to do with time and space, they cool off, and if they cool off, it's not like you're not thinking about time, there just is no time because the mind isn't there to process time.
Is free from the turbulence that characterizes so many people's minds so much of the time. And then the mind gets quiet, so the discursive chit-chat, the obsessive flow of thoughts subsides. And then as one settles in, a greater sense of expansiveness, of openness, just the opposite of being in a small enclosed space, that starts to become more and more evident. And then sooner or later, like shafts of light breaking through the clouds, you're very likely to get at least some glimmerings, or perhaps a great big sunbeam, of a sense of true well-being. One may call it bliss.
We know that the redundancy of our thinking and feeling, strong emotion creates disease. Why wait for the disease? Can we inspire people to make those changes?
and psychologists tell us 70% of the time, the thoughts that are going through our head are negative and redundant, so the same negative thoughts are going through. If you could stop those thoughts, if you could hear them as they come through, like, oh, that's not going to work, oh, this will never happen, those kind of thoughts. If you can hear them and stop them consciously, say, no, change the belief right there, just give the more positive thing. As you repeat this more frequently and you keep repeating it, the subconscious mind begins to learn. Most of the time, you're thinking about something. Well, if you're thinking, you're using the conscious mind. Well, if you're using the conscious mind for thinking, then who's running the show? And the answer is, when you're not paying attention and you're thinking about what I'm going to do tomorrow, your subconscious is running the show.
How did the genesis for the idea for the book come about? What made you decide to want to go ahead and write it?
Well, I'd already been a big fan of this kind of self-help literature, and like I say in the book, I discovered this book by Al-Quran. I think he was like some sort of stage magician. He was like an illusionist. He had been on TV in the 1950s, and you can find him on YouTube as well, I think. Yeah. And he wrote this sort of very charming little book called Bring Out the Magic in Your Mind. And each sort of the chapters more or less begins the magic of, the magic of belief, the magic of romance, the magic of right impressions and all this kind of thing. And I did find it, even then at 14, I found it rather, this is crazy, isn't it? All this stuff about the power of the subconscious and then I discovered a whole load of other books, mainly from American authors. So you've got your Napoleon Hills and Norman Vincent Peale. You may have heard of some of these, There's one called Psycho-Cybernetics by a guy called Maxwell Maltz. And they kind of boil down to the same thing, belief changes things.
You said, I think in your book that you either had more negative thoughts when you were younger, or you were more skeptical when you were younger. What changed your mind, and how did your mind change?
Oh, what changed? If you like, what changed my mind was getting results, and I did find that I quite enjoyed using visualization. It was really, you start to live in the whole thing then, strangely enough, to experience the feeling that it's here and now, which is another crazy idea. If you're looking at it rationally, it makes no rational sense, of course, which is why things like visualization and positive thinking is so very comprehensively rejected by, your scientists. It's based on the idea, I think, there's no contact between mind and matter. That's where they're coming from, I think. So I came into it with all these. Well, this just sounds crazy, doesn't it? It sounds impossible. It sounds incredible. And then when I found out that it did work, when I found out that I obtained quite specifically the kind of results that I wanted, I'm thinking, wow. And it made a believer of me, if you like.
It has been said many times that your beliefs shape your world. They are always there behind each of our actions, and they are extremely powerful. They can attract either good or ill. This is the power of your subconscious mind.
Because if you doubt yourself, then no matter how capable you are of doing things, that doubt will pull the rug out from under it. So, for example, walking across hot coals. Now, people that walk across don't have doubt about that belief generally, and I don't think that they want to entertain a doubt, because if you halfway across and then say, "Wonder if I can do this," then it's too late. Okay, But it's interesting because those that believe they'll get burned, and those that don't believe they'll get burned will not get burned. And that's only a matter of what's the difference. It was only a difference of their belief about it.
Yes. Well, I agree, and I think that the importance of belief, which you point out very clearly and strongly, is just one aspect of the bigger question of the power of the mind and the nature of the mind.
The other quantum law is, what is it that I'm changing inside of me that's producing the measurable effect outside of me, either in my body or in my life?
And even, you know, the emphasis on trying to go deeper and deeper into reality to find the, you know, the basic element of matter is being seen as a false enterprise, and that really what matter represents is relationship. It isn't that there is an elementary particle. Matter only comes when the particles come into relationship. So from the very level of the subatomic, all the way up to understanding the nature of the mind-body connection, understanding the ways in which my expectations or intentions can actually influence you through placebo or nocebo effects, is all revealing a new cosmology that is less about separation and more about connection. Instead of thinking about reality in this kind of billiard ball cause and effect way, what the quantum physicists are suggesting is that it is about entanglement.
Quantum entanglement means that particles smaller than the atom exist in some mysterious relationship. They connect with each other, and can do so over vast distances. In other words, one part of nature knows what another is doing. Telepathically. They connect non-locally. A non-local connection is not just communicating over a vast distance. It is communication beyond space and time. Beyond space and time. Just like how our subconscious mind works. But remember, the atoms in our subconscious mind are both in here and out there. Inside and outside of our minds. One way or another, we are all connected. We are all entangled. Quantum entanglement is the new name for the law of attraction.